This is Willard, and these are his friends, Ben and Socrates.
I'm gonna have a big surprise tomorrow.
Willard takes good care of them.
What's that in your pocket? There's something in your pocket.
And they will do anything for Willard.
Joy.
Walter, please, Walter, there's something outside the door.
My God, look at the rats. Mr. Martin, I have a number of things to tell you. First, you stole the business from my father. And second, it killed my mother.
She died this morning, Willard, at 9:42 in my arms.
And third, you're trying to ruin me.
You hold up my sales department or even my shipping department one more time. Shut up, Willard.
You made me hate myself. Well, I like myself now. You know, my life has changed now. Two things did it. One was a friend I had named Socrates, and you.
Where your nightmares end, Willard begins.
Tear him up!
No, Willard! No, Willard! Willard, no!
Willard is the one movie you should not see alone.
Hello, and welcome to another edition to Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking about Willard from 1971, starring Bruce Davison, and also has Ernest Borgnine in it. It's about kind of a socially inept teenager who comes to... Is he a teenager?
No, he's 27.
He's 27? Oh my God, never mind.
I think they say he's like in his 20s at least.
Good Lord. I guess I just assumed he was really young. I'm already getting the plot wrong here. But he develops a love for rats, and he gets pet rats, but they're a bit more than pets. So I guess to get into it, have you seen Willard before? What's your experience with this?
Yeah, I've seen Willard before. I owned it. So my experience with Willard was I didn't know that. So I knew about the Crispin Glover movie beforehand,
I did too.
before I even knew about the original Willard. And I remember seeing the trailer for Willard like in theaters and seeing the amount of rats, and rats creep me out so much, just like their tails, and they're so gross to me. And I've seen the trailer for that movie. It gave me nightmares.
Really? Holy crap.
And I remember I'd wake up like in the middle of the night thinking like rats, rats. And
jeez. And I'm over here like, let's watch Willard.
I've matured since then, so I have less inclinations. But no, I did watch the 1971 version just because I do love creature feature type of movies. So I was still pretty interested to see how it is. Now, I haven't seen the remake, so I don't know how creepy it was in my mind, but I did eventually watch this movie, and, it's okay.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I won't go too deep into, like, I've known of this movie for a while, but I have zero experience with it. I actually kind of like rats. I think rats are kind of cute. I don't have a pet rat, but the rats in this movie I wouldn't want as a pet. But I guess to go into it, the movie's name is Willard, and our main character is Willard. and they say his name a million times at the beginning of the movie. They want you to know that our main character is Willard. That's his name. I don't know why. That really bothered me.
They really want you to know, and they all have to, when they are addressing him, they don't say hey, or they don't, every sentence begins with Willard, like Willard, your mother, Willard.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's one of those weird things. It's one of those movies that's like obsessed with names, because also the rats have names. It's like Socrates, Ben, the whole movie.
Yeah, but everyone in this movie has super exaggerated personalities. Like everybody is like these like like just super like inflated like type of faces. They're just they look so strange. Everyone looks strange, and everyone's like that, like a cartoon character almost.
Yeah, it's I agree. I think when we watched it together, I compared it to like a John Waters movie. These people have like the most bizarre personalities. Like I do love Ernest Borgnine in his movie, who plays Willard's boss, who basically bullies Willard the whole movie. But he's laughing. Like there's a scene where they're all eating like sandwiches, and he has like this shit-eating grin the whole time, and he's just loving eating this food. And it's just so silly. I don't know. This movie's like, other than our main character, everybody's like on another level. Like they know they're in like a trashy movie, and they just get the wildest performance.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know if they're playing this straight, or are they kind of going for this really type of like exaggerated type of look.
That's the thing. I don't know what this movie is really going for. I don't, because I don't know if it's going to be supposed to be a comedy. I don't think it's trying to be,
but even Willard, like he acts so bizarre, because like, so there's, I mean, getting into spoilers. So when there's one scene, so his mother dies, and he's more concerned about like how much money he's going to get from his mom, and the executor of his will is like, oh, so if I were you, I would sell the house so you can pay off the mortgage. And Willard just doesn't like understand the concept of mortgage. He's like, no, I'm going to keep the house. He's like, well, you're not going to have any money. You can't afford the mortgage. He's like, money? Like, well, how much money did my mom leave me? She's like, oh, she left you like $1,000 in the house. That's why you need to sell that. Like he was trying to explain, like you get money by selling the house to pay off your debt.
Yeah, okay. And like I think this movie's trying to paint Willard as like sympathetic, right? Like, oh, I can't handle social situations. But it just sounds like he doesn't know anything about life. Like he just doesn't understand how life works. Like he just I'm guessing he just doesn't pay for the house, because he starts getting like notes on his house and stuff. And he just like doesn't understand the concept of paying for things.
But I mean, he's kind of a jerk too, in his own right. Like there's like one girl at work that's trying to be nice to him. And by the way, she's in this movie, and she almost serves zero purpose to this
she's
movie.
So
like
boring.
She's so boring, doesn't do anything other than she gives him a cat, and then he abandons the cat like right away. Like
there's not even a plot line to that. 'Cause I actually thought I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny. Whenever she's like, "I got a present for you, Willard. It's in your car," and then there's a cat back there, and this is by the point where he has like an infestation of rats that he takes care of. And of course, the cat's not going to like that, so he just pawns it off on somebody. He goes up to someone in like a phone booth and is like, "Here's this cat. I don't want it anymore." This lady never asks again. They don't talk about the cat. There isn't even a plot line where she's like, "Where is the cat?" You know.
She did say it at one point. Like she was like, "Well, how's Chloe?" He's like, "Oh, she's out hunting."
That's right. But he's like really poor. It's like weirdly delivered. She's out hunting, and like does this weird face, and she's just like, okay, I think they laugh.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. But by the way, just to go on a bit of a tangent, how you'd have to be a crazy person to give somebody a pet as a gift that doesn't have a pet, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. That's a gift that you have to ask somebody if they want that, right? Like you don't just give someone the responsibility of taking care of a cat or a dog as a gift. Some people don't want that responsibility, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have a dog, but I don't. If somebody surprised me with a second dog, I would I would lose my mind. I'd be like, oh my God, what have you done?
Yeah, right. It's just I guess you just don't know what somebody's going through. Like 2 dogs. That, it's probably hard enough taking care of 1 dog,
Oh yeah, I mean, even like a cat, you're like, oh, here's more cats. Hope you have fun with that.
I got to get a new litter, like 2 litter boxes. I got to do different feeding schedules. They might like different food. You got to think about all this stuff. So maybe I kind of get Willard just giving it away.
Yeah. Well, then again, he has like 200 rats in his basement by the end of the movie.
Yes, he does. This dude is... See, I said rats were cute, but if I had that many rats living in my basement, I would be freaked out. That is just horrifying. And he's just hanging out with them. He feeds them. He has a favorite. I do love this. His favorite, Socrates, that he takes upstairs with him. He's like his best buddy. That's the rat that he loves.
Which he's the one white rat. I mean, come on.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. Oh, Willard, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
And then
but how they introduce Socrates is that Willard originally like takes care of one of the rats named Queenie, and then the rat was just like, oh, well, as a thank you for helping us by... Oh yeah, there was like that weird scene where he was almost going to drown the rat, and he's like, yeah, just kidding. Because
the rats were like living in an old pool or fountain, and he was going to fill it up with water and drown them. And then he was like, oh no, I'm going to put this plank here so they can walk across it. Which I guess is kind of getting into a weird territory that I want to talk about. Is like, this is definitely one of those animal movies with a lot of animals that definitely had animal abuse. And I think because they're rats, people, they are like, we don't care as much about rats and rat lives. You know what I mean?
You cannot tell me that countless rats did not die for this movie.
No, yeah. There were definitely, they had to. There was over 200 rats, and I don't know rat lifespans, but I doubt they're long, and there's probably so many that died, especially what they were doing. They're seen, because towards the end of the movie, this is a spoiler, Willard basically controls these rats. He like snaps, and the rats will go and attack like people. And in these scenes, people in the background are just throwing rats. It almost looks like rats are flying onto people, but obviously it's camera people or stunt people in the background just throwing rats at people, which is just abusive in general.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't tell me, especially like when there would be like these scenes where it's just like rats are like in this big pile, like they're not suffocating each other, or there's not like, I know rats do eat each other sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm making that up. But animals are crazy. They do stuff like that. But anyway, you can't tell me that none of the animals were crushed or stepped on by a crew member or something like that. So it really, when you think about it, because there's one scene where Willard's boss kills Socrates and like hits him with the pole. And I'm sure they put fake blood on the rat, but there's one scene where it's definitely a live rat is just being like jabbed with a wooden stick.
Yeah, he's like slamming the stick, right? And in the shots that you see, it's kind of around the rat, but you can't tell me there weren't takes where they accidentally hit a rat or something. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't surprise me at all if they were like, let's just kill a rat for the scene and then that would be good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think this is not a controversial stance, but I always have felt that animals shouldn't die for movies. And I know times have changed. And back in the day, they would just kill animals in movies. Horses would die and stuff like that. They would turn the other cheek. But I think by 1971, we should have known better to not be just killing animals for our movies. But, I mean, that Apocalypse Now came after this, and that had animal sacrifice in it, so...
Well, that was very brave of you to say. I'm glad you said that.
No, I had to take my stance. It's like you took your stance last episode by saying Die Hard was a Christmas movie. I have my stance now.
Animal abuse is bad.
Yeah, animals don't hurt animals. But yeah, no, it's just it kind of brings down the movie a little bit. And honestly, I don't hate this movie or anything, but it's not great. it's so slow burn, and it's not even like a good kind of slow burn where you get something really good out of it. Because the last 10 minutes, they're interesting, but not exciting.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that if I'm getting a slow burn movie, you better be teasing something great coming up. Like, you better be, you better see some like really cool, like creature feature, like animals attacking stuff, which you do, but it's so underwhelming. It's just basically at the end of the movie, which I think you can kind of figure out, Willard gets eaten by the rats, and it's just like a big pile of rats on top of him. And the movie ends there. It's over.
Yeah, it just says the end. And it's underwhelming, right? Because it's all building up to this, because Willard attacks his boss with the rats, and he goes and drowns a ton of rats in water in a really long scene.
I did not understand that. So do you know why he did that?
No, I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he specifically was like, I'm going to go and drown these rats in the cages. I don't get it.
So, like, the rats kill his boss, and this is the first human that the rats have killed. So, I guess, like, I don't know if he's having, like, this, like, moral dilemma, or if he's just like, oh, better destroy the evidence, because we don't want the cops inspecting like these killer rats. But I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why he's like, let me just kill all my rats, which he doesn't even kill all the rats, because there's still a great number of rats at the end that still kill him at the end.
It's weird, because I guess Hollywood wasn't in sequel fever quite yet. They weren't making tons of sequels, even though a sequel did get made for this movie. But
very quickly, right after this one too.
Yeah, the next year. But I feel like the sequel should have been Willard is a rat controller now. Like, he can control these rats, and he like does something with his army of rats. Not this moral lesson of him screwing over the rats that he controlled, and then they take him over and they end up killing their leader. It almost has me interested to see what its sequel is like.
Which the sequel is about Ben, and I wanted to talk about Ben too.
Who is a black rat, by the way.
Right. Well, yeah, so Ben he kind of realized like he's really smart, because Ben kind of does like his own thing, or he follows Willard around, but I don't know why Willard gets so annoyed at Ben at certain scenes. Like, Ben's like comes upstairs and he just wants to hang out in Willard's bedroom. He's like, Ben, you know you're not supposed to be in here. And he just gets so mad at him. I'm like, what?
For no reason. The movie doesn't explain it. It's not like, we have no reason to hate Ben, right? And I feel like it wants Ben to be the villain, because at the end of the movie, there's shots of Ben that look like evil, like he's the one doing the killing of Willard in the end. And I never got that out of this rat, that he was such a horrible dude.
Which he kind of, well, they make it, Ben is so smart that he's able to read a newspaper, and then at the end of the movie, Willard tries to put rat poison like in Ben's food, and then Ben is able to read the box of rat poison, and he's like, and he starts like squeaking, like he's like, "How dare you!"
It's good stuff. Like, it's so bizarre. I wonder if I learned this not that long ago after we saw it. It's based off of a book called Rat Man's Notebook. I wonder what the book is like, or if it would explain it a little bit better.
I think that's a way better title than Willard, by the way.
I agree. Rat Man's Notebook. That's awesome. Yeah.
But I would be interested in seeing the sequel, which we might have to cover that at some point.
Yeah, I hope Ben, which is the name of the sequel, it doubles down a little bit and really leans into the more trashier elements of like a creature feature, because I don't think this one does enough. It almost tries to play it like a drama, but has weird comedy elements, and it just clashes too much, and it just doesn't work for me.
So I guess one positive I want to say about the movie, I do like there are some really comedic moments like that, like the dinner party scene is really funny, and he's like got all these people in his house and he hates everybody, but it's really funny. Like his mom is in the movie, and she's like lying in bed, and she's like, "Willard, you don't have a social life. You you don't go out and have a girlfriend. You don't have any friends. It's like, why are you so awkward? You never go out. And then, like, in the same breath, she's like, by the way, did you repair the entire house? And like, usually she just gives him like this endless chore list to do. So he's always busy doing something. It's like, why don't you ever go out? By the way, I need to do all this stuff today.
Yeah. And a fun fact that you told me while we were watching this, that the woman who plays his mother is the original Bride of Frankenstein. So that I think that's really cool. But yeah,
it's a nice nod to classic horror.
Exactly, yeah. So it's stuff like that. I think it does have funny elements. I do think it made me laugh, and I don't know if it was trying to make me laugh sometimes, but
that's the thing.
Yeah, but it had its funny moments, and I don't, like I said before, I don't hate this movie. I just think it just felt off. I didn't come out of it loving it. Maybe the remake is a bit better. Yeah.
And I'm definitely interested to see that one as well, just to see how well. Because honestly, it might be superior to. You never know. This might be one of those instances where the remake is better.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could see it because, I mean, like that's what remakes I think should do is maybe remake movies that were subpar, or not that great, and try to make them better movies.
Yeah, I can't give it a strong recommend or anything like that. It's very. It's not very good, and I don't know if I can't really give it a recommend to anybody. But I mean, if you love creature feature type stuff, if you love when animals attack type of movie, I guess give it a watch. But otherwise, I can't really say too many positive things.
Yeah, I would say like it's a good watch from like a historical standpoint. It's very early 70s, right? It has like that look, late 60s kind of coming out of counterculture. It was the 11th best movie of the year, box office wise. It did better than Willy Wonka, which is wild. To me.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess from like maybe a historical standpoint, it's interesting. I was looking at the production company for this movie is Bing Crosby Productions. So Bing Crosby had his hand in this movie, which is really weird to me. But as a movie on its own, I can't recommend it. I didn't really like it.
One thing I do want to add at the very end. So before we started watching this movie, there's the very famous Michael Jackson song, Ben, which is written specifically for the movie Ben. So when Michael Jackson's singing about Ben, he's singing about a rat.
Yep.
But when we started the movie, I was like, have you ever seen Crispin Glover's music video for when he does Ben? You're like, no. And I'm like, stop the movie right now. And we watched that. What did you think of that?
Oh, that's bizarre. I loved it though, because it's got oh god, what's his name? Arlie Ermy shows up. Hitler shows up in it. Half naked women are in it. Crispin Glover's in it, which he's always a bizarre man. It was great.
People use rats as blankets, or they're just like a rat falls into a woman's cleavage. It's so it's really out there, but that's why it gets me kind of excited for the remake. But then that's at the same time, I'm like, I know the remake's not going to be anything like this movie. This is just Crispin Glover being Crispin Glover.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Is it just like a Crispin Glover vehicle where he just acts weird the whole time? Oh, I know it is that, but is it more? Can it be more?
If the movie's half like that music video, I think I'll love it.
Yeah, exactly. It seems right up my alley. So, but cool.
Good.
Yeah. Is anything else you wanted to cover about Willard?
I think we're good. I think we said everything we needed to.
Perfect. So yeah, now that we did that, what's up next on Driving Double Feature?
All right. Well, Nathan, there's one thing that I want next week, and I want Hitler dead or alive.
Okay. Well, he's definitely dead. I can tell you that.
Well, he's not dead, Nathan. And the 1942 movie Hitler, Dead or Alive.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's like I said, it's from 1942. I decided to go for an older movie. It is available. The full movie is available on YouTube. It's for free. It's only about 70 minutes long, so give it a watch. we're gonna watch it this week, and we'll tell you what we think of it.
I'm excited for this one.
And of course, if there's something that you think we should talk about, or just any general suggestions or feedback, please email us at drivein-double-feature-podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today's episode, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.